Intro. Elmsworth Lane was just another quiet street in a quiet town, until one summer night when a girl disappeared without a trace. Years passed, rumors grew, and silence settled. But silence, they say, hides the loudest secrets. Chapter 1. The Return. The bus squeaked to a stop, breaking the late July stillness. Daniel stepped out, the scent of dry grass and old soil hitting him like a forgotten memory. Elmsworth Lane looked the same: sun-faded fences, crooked mailboxes, and the haunting silence of secrets buried beneath rose gardens. 12 years. It had been 12 long years since he left after Hamda disappeared. His grandmother's house stood at the far end, still wrapped in the same ivy, the same chipped paint, as if time had been afraid to touch it. But Daniel knew better. Time hadn't stood still. It had devoured everything: friendships, truths, and most of all, peace. He was back now, not by choice, but by a need he couldn't explain. Something was pulling him back. Something unfinished. Chapter 2. The Girl in the Window. That evening, while sipping lukewarm tea in the porch swing, Daniel spotted something strange across the street, a flicker of movement in the old Gaffer house, which had been abandoned since the incident. A girl, blonde, pale, and wearing a yellow dress. She stood at the attic window, still, watching. Daniel blinked.
Gone.
He shook his head. No one had lived there for a decade. That house was sealed after Hamda disappeared. Could it be her? The thought stabbed him. He went inside and tried to sleep, but dreams clawed at him. Hamda's laughter echoing through the trees, shadows dragging her down into the ground, the whisper of her last words. Chapter 3. Digging the Past. The next morning, Daniel visited the one person who had never stopped searching, Mr. Akram, the retired schoolteacher and local historian. She disappeared on July 23rd, Mr. Akram said, tapping on old newspaper clippings with shaky fingers. No blood, no struggle, just vanished. And the house?
Locked.
Sealed. But some kids say they hear music coming from the attic on some nights. What kind of music? Daniel asked. Old nursery rhymes.
Faint.
Like a lullaby. Daniel felt the chill crawl up his spine. Mr. Akram leaned in, whispering, "Some believe the house is cursed. Others think it's hiding something. Do you believe that?" "I believe in grief, son. And grief grows roots in silence." Chapter 4. The Box Under the Floor. That night, Daniel couldn't resist. He snuck into the Gaffer house, through the broken back door. Dust clung to every surface. Spiderwebs like funeral veils. The floorboards creaked with every step. In the attic, he found nothing. Just a broken rocking chair. Until he stepped on a soft spot in the floor.
Hollow.
He pried it open with a rusted crowbar. Inside was a small wooden box, wrapped in yellowed lace. Inside, a Polaroid photo of Hamda, a rusty silver key, and a note in her handwriting. "Find me before I forget myself." The words were smeared as if written in haste or fear. Chapter 5. Mirror, Mirror. Back at home, Daniel tried the key in every lock he could find. Nothing. But that night, something changed. He saw Hamda again in the mirror. She was behind him, lips moving but no sound, her eyes pleading. He turned, empty room. But the mirror fogged up. Words appeared in the mist. "Come to the garden. Midnight. Alone." His breath caught in his throat. The garden. Of course. That was where they had last played as children, where she vanished. Chapter 6. Midnight in the garden. The garden was wild now. Thorny, overgrown. He pushed through the brambles until he reached the old fountain, now dry and cracked. There was something buried beneath. He dug with his bare hands. First dirt, then wood. A trapdoor. The rusty key fit perfectly. With a deep breath, he opened it. A cold gust rushed out. Not air, a presence. A dark staircase spiraled downward, lit by flickering candlelight, even though there were no candles. He hesitated only a moment before stepping down into the unknown. The spiral staircase led Daniel deep beneath the garden, into a place that should not exist. The deeper he went, the colder it got, and the air grew heavy, as if he were sinking through time itself. At the bottom was a corridor lined with old mirrors. Each reflected him, but slightly different. In one he was crying, in another smiling, in another covered in blood. Then, at the far end, a door stood ajar. He stepped through and froze. It was a room, small, candlelit, filled with drawings. Children's drawings. Crayons.
Dolls.
Torn pages of storybooks. And in the center, sitting on the floor, was Hamda. Chapter 8. The Lost Girl. She looked up slowly.
Pale.
Older than he remembered, yet still just a child. "Danyal," she whispered, voice cracked like old porcelain. "It's me," he rushed forward, but she flinched. "It's okay. I came to find you. I never stopped thinking about you." She shook her head, eyes hollow. "They won't let me leave." "Who?" She pointed to the shadows. And then he saw them. Dark figures, barely visible, standing still, faceless but present. Watching. Guarding. "They feed on forgotten things," she said. "Memories. Children. Joy." He reached for her hand. "We're getting out." But the room began to tremble. Chapter 9. The Curse of Elmsworth Lane. Suddenly, voices filled the room. Children's laughter, then screams, then silence. The mirrors outside shattered. The ground shook. The walls whispered. She was promised. She cannot leave. You cannot leave. No. Danyal screamed. You took her. But I remember her. I remember. And in that moment, something broke. Hamda looked up. You remember me? Of course. You're my best friend. I never forgot. Tears welled in her eyes. That's the key. The room flashed white. Chapter 10. Escape. Suddenly, the figures shrieked and fell back. The drawings turned to ash. The door blew open. Run! Hamda cried. They sprinted through the corridor. The stairs collapsed behind them. Mirrors exploded. The ground,